myself. Just flip it around so you can see. Hello. Hello. Yeah, the camera guy Patrick had a bit of a work emergency this morning, so I am going to be doing this solo. Unfortunately, that means we're not going to get to do the driving during the live Q&A of the Nissan Frontier, but don't you worry, I am going to have plenty of POV drives in this one and an in-depth review, so look forward to that. Before we get this live Q&A going, want to give a quick shout out to a new MilesPerHr member, Stuart Bennett. He's at the co-driver level, and that means, guys, as a perk, that he gets access to a 7-day preview of what vehicles I have coming up on the channel release schedule. And I also want to thank Elias Tapia. He rejoined as a MilesPerHr member. And guys, if you want to become a YouTube member or a patron, it's such a help to me for this channel. It keeps me able to buy new equipment and keep things fresh, and it also just tells me you guys are loving the content, so I super duper appreciate that. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in live, and I will definitely be answering your questions first, and I also have some questions that were asked on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, it's at MilesPerHr, and on YouTube's community page. So first we get a couple folks. Hello, Oven and Olivier from Sweden and Finland. Finland is next of Sweden. They are very close, yes. All right, so I'm going to ask this question that came from Felmelo Cool. He just asked, how fast is it? Well, so the new Frontier, new from the ground up for the 22 model year, uses a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6, and it makes 310 horsepower, the most in its segment, and 287 pound-feet of torque, I think. And it gets to 60 in 7.0 seconds, and the top speed is 112 miles per hour. So, you know, you're not going to be winning any top speed quarter mile races in this thing, or top speed full mile races in this thing, but it's plenty peppy. All right. Hello to Joshua. Hello to Pavaza from Egypt. Hello. And Sparsh is asking, TRX or this? So this, let me just clarify, is a compact pickup, or a small to mid-size pickup truck. It is not a full-size truck like the Ram 1500, the Chevy Silverado, the Toyota Tundra that I was just in earlier this week, or what else am I missing here? The Ford F-150. So it's not in that class of truck, so it doesn't compete with those. So you know, it wouldn't be really a fair comparison, this or the TRX. I mean, if you're just going to ask me the question, though, I would, of course, take the TRX. 700 horsepower, are you kidding me? Let's see. Pavaza asks, how much is it? So this one is tested as $44,000, and it is fully decked out. You cannot add more options. I mean, you can add like accessory things from the factory, but package options, this literally has every package you could equip on the new Frontier. So 44 grand is fully decked out. The starting figure for the Pro-4X model is about 38 grand, which is a little less than its direct rivals, the Tacoma TRD Pro and those kind of models. Joshua asks, I'm sure the Jeep Trackhawk beat this Nissan Frontier. Yes, it would definitely beat this with 700 horsepower and 0 to 60 in the low mid 3-second range. Is the performance good? Asked Pavaza. Yeah, I think so. It's, you know, it's not, it's class leading horsepower. Torque figure is very good. 0 to 60 is competitive. I think that the quickest of these trucks is going to be the Ford Ranger with its 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine. It makes slightly less power, but it makes the most torque at like 310 pound-feet of torque. So that one I think is going to be the quickest of these trucks, but this performance is very good. Let's see. Greet me, please, from Colombia. Cardav. Hello. Already answered how much is it, so I'm going to answer another question from YouTube's community, or from Instagram. Ziv Zavilla asked the fuel consumption. So it's 19 combined in the Pro-4X trim. You can get 20 combined in just the rear drive version of the Nissan Frontier. Have I seen the new Nissan Qashqai? I have not, but I know that I think that model exists as a different model here in the US. Someone was asking if we could see the engine, so yes, I will definitely make that happen. Just wondering what type of engine it's using. It's using a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6. I gotta find where the hood pop is. Oh, it's right here. Right there. And yeah, 310 horsepower, 287 pound-feet of torque. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I do know that it has a strut. So it's got a hydraulic strut instead of me having to try to hold it up one-handed while trying to find the prop wand. So this is a look at the engine. Engine bay is actually, decent. They didn't hide a lot of stuff under a big plastic cover. Let's see, what other question? Nice for a little truck. You're the best YouTuber. Could you see Finland 3 times? I thank you. I would love to go to Finland. I've been to Norway. I've been to Sweden. I've not been to Finland. Can you show us the interior, please? Yeah. Oh, hang on. Let me skip back. Satya MilesPerHr asks, hello, which do you like better? 21 Nissan Frontier, 21 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. So yeah, this would be a direct rival for the Tacoma TRD Pro, and I'll save my complete verdict for my in-depth review that I will have coming out. But I do have some drive impressions of the 22 Tacoma TRD Pro if you want to go check that out. You guys wanted to see the interior, so this is a huge upgrade for the 22 model year, completely redesigned. This one, as I said, has the fully optioned cabin, so it's got the 10-speaker Fender sound system. It's got fully leather seats here. It's not leatherette, it's real leather. I like the Pro-4X that's stamped right there in the back of the seats. And they're heated in the front. It's got wireless smartphone charging. It's got a 9-inch touchscreen infotainment. I'll just put an accessory mode so we can show you some of those things. Boot this up. Wonder how long it's going to beep at me. Will accessory 2 clear that? Yes. Okay. So this is the 9-inch touchscreen. Yeah, but it's really good looking. It's got is that fake stitching? No, that's real stitching up on the dashboard. That's cool. And some soft touch materials there and in the door. So yeah, it's a pretty nice cabin. Big upgrade. Prefer this or Toyota Tacoma. Thabo, as I said, I'm doing an in-depth review on this one, so I'm not going to give you a definitive this or that until we watch that one. Harman Kardon speakers are better. Tasha, I don't know. I mean, they'll probably be better than this Fender system. The Fender system is not, luxury or very high-end, but Harman Kardon sound systems I've not found to be amazing. Very sporty interior. Does have navigator. Oliver, do you mean navigation? It does. It's a great question. I think it does have navigation, but I can't remember. Let me go to. It's got map. Yes, it does have navigation. A little bit of a delay, but it's not bad. What other questions are being asked now? What's good, Maximilian? What's going on, man? Looking forward to your driving impressions video. Thank you, Satya. Yes, I will have, so it'll be an in-depth review with POV drive impressions embedded within. Yeah, it's a big, massive upgrade, Pavaza. Yes, the Bilstein suspension, that's a huge upgrade as well. How's the legroom? All right, so I'll show you this. So that's my driving position. It's 6 feet tall, and this is the legroom situation back here. I'll do my best to show it to you. Okay. And okay, so I can fit barely. This is not much knee room at all here. And my head does clear the roof. That's a huge plus for me because typically I find that my head is kind of pressing up on the top of the roofs of at least, small to mid-size vehicles, and my head does clear the roof here. But yeah, the knee room, ooh, that's tight. That is tight. So any taller driver, you can fit a 6-footer behind a 6-footer, but any taller than that, and you're gonna have some problems. When am I going to do a POV on it, Pavaza? I'll be doing a POV in, I think, 2 weeks, because I have some other great content coming before that. Let's see, what other questions? Does the truck have a manual version, Joshua? It does not have a manual version anymore. They got rid of that when they introduced the new engine in 2020. So they brought in the new engine for 2020, but they kept the truck the same as it had been since 2004. It was I think one of the oldest, if not the oldest, body styled new vehicle you could buy up through 2020. But it finally had a new engine. But with that new engine, they got rid of the manual transmission, so it only has a 9-speed automatic that's manufactured by Jatco. Does it have a seat warmer in the back seats? Asks Oliver. No, the rear seats are not heated. I thought that would be a nice addition, especially on this, again, fully decked out model. And there also are no air vents. Where are the air vents? You get 2 USB ports and a 120 volt outlet. How much horsepower, Thabo? So I answered that earlier in the video, but it does make 310 horsepower and 287 pound-feet of torque. Would I ever buy a manual? Asks Maximilian. 100%. I would absolutely buy a manual. I've owned 3 different vehicles with manual transmissions. If this was offered in a manual, I would consider that for this truck. Full-size trucks? I don't know about a manual at this point, but small truck? Yeah, absolutely. How long is the truck? That's a good question. Killer Bug Master. I'm not sure. The truck is, I know that the wheelbase has been lengthened, and I think the overall length is about the same as the previous version. They didn't want to make the truck any bigger. Just has a 5-foot bed. There is a 6-foot bed option if you choose the King cab. This is the crew cab configuration for full-size doors. But if you choose the King cab, then you'll have a longer bed, and that would lengthen the whole truck. How big is the back of the truck? The back of the truck being the cab or the bed, Pavaza. So this is the cab, and you can see that I climbed back there, and I was able to fit behind my own driving position at 6 feet tall. The camera's so stable. Maximilian, yeah. So we've been trying to play around with the weights that are on the camera to make sure that it's not flopping around. The back is a 5-foot bed. That's your look at that. All right, so see we're in the back seat. I am going to grab my list of questions. Had to print them out because I'm using the phone that usually asks the questions. The bed, yeah, so Pavaza, that's the bed, 5 feet. You can get a 6-foot bed if you get the King cab configuration, so a full-size front door and sort of a half rear door. You're welcome. Price, asked Franco, and I did answer that a little earlier. So the Pro-4X model starts at about $38,000. This one, with all of the options, apart from some accessories you can get from the factory, is $44,000. Fabio, you're asking a CarWow Matt Watson question. Should you shortlist or go ahead and buy it? I'm going to let you guys wait until I release my in-depth review for that final verdict on, should you buy it? For now, I'm going to say you should shortlist it. This is a great truck, but I'll let you guys see that one for my full verdict. Looks like the new Tundra, says VNB. Yes, I don't really see that. Maybe a little in the taillights and some of the boxy details, but the front certainly doesn't look Tundra to me. You've got these kind of squared off fenders, the over fenders. That's a little Tundra-y, but that's also just trucky. I don't know if I see the Tundra in this one. Certainly not at the face. The face doesn't look Tundra at all to me. The headlights are different. The grill's different. It doesn't look like that. What's more expensive, this or the Ford truck? That's a good question, Oliver. The comparative Ford would be the Tremor, or maybe even the FX4. The FX4 is going to be cheaper to start than the Pro-4X, but the Tremor is going to be more expensive to start, I think at $40,000 than the Pro-4X. So this is the cheapest vehicle in its segment, comparing trim to trim. What are those circles on the tailgate? Asks Maximilian. Circles. Oh, these in here? These are like drink holders. So the idea here is you've got different sized beverages and you just stick them in the drink holders. The exterior design is wonderful. I agree. I really think this is perhaps the best looking small truck right now. Maverick, asks Satya. What about the Maverick? This is a larger class of truck than the Maverick. The Maverick kind of competes with the Hyundai Santa Cruz. That's kind of the size of that one. I realize I haven't started it up at this point, so let's do that. like this little animation on the 7-inch TFT display. That's cool. And that was the sound of the V6 coming to life, naturally aspirated V6. It's a VQ motor, by the way, and I mean, VQ motors, if you don't know much about them, have been used by Nissan Infiniti vehicles for a while, and they're fantastic engines, very reliable, tunable. Yeah, Josh, the animation's really cool. Okay, so let's see. What other questions do you have? How much horsepower and torque? Asked Kappa. So I kind of answered that earlier, Kappa. It makes 310 horsepower and 287 pound-feet of torque. While we're just sitting here, you want me to rev it a little bit? Oh, that sounds good. That sounds like the VQ engine. I like that. All about that. Roxy asked, this or a Tundra TRD Pro? And so, yeah, Roxy, I was kind of just comparing it earlier. This is a smaller class of truck than the Tundra TRD Pro. So you're not going to have as much space in the cabin, and the beds are going to be definitely on the smaller side. The smallest bed you can get in the new Tundra is a 5.5-foot bed, whereas the smallest bed is a 5-foot bed. The driver door has a 2011 Ford F-150 style. I mean, I'm trying to remember the 2011 version of the F-150. I can't really see it against the new F-150 door, but maybe the 2011. I can't remember that one exactly. Does it have traction control? Yes, it does have traction control. You can disable it. There's a button down there for it. It also has a locking rear differential. It's got hill descent control. The Pro-4X model has a lot of cool goodies. A lot of off-road specific goodies. That kind of does it for all the questions that were asked on Instagram. So I'll answer, make sure I get some of these. Can I buy this car with a different color, interior color? Asked Oliver. Yes, you can get it with a different interior color. Well, actually, so yes and no. The Pro-4X model that we have here is only clad in black, but the regular Pro-4X has fabric seats with red contrast stitching. This one with the premium package only has the black contrast stitching, so it's just a black interior. But I do believe you can get the standard Frontier in different colors. That sounds amazing. I agree, Pavaza. It does sound really good. Why would you buy this when you can rather buy from an American manufacturer? Well, Maximilian, some people prefer Japanese products. Some people prefer German products. Some people prefer, there's just Korean products. There's so many different manufacturers now. They all have a different flavor to them. They all have different features, different benefits. Some Japanese products are far more reliable than certain American products. But I mean, and certain manufacturers that are foreign companies have U.S. production facilities. So in fact, when you're buying their products, you are supporting American labor. So if that's of interest to you, just keep that in mind. When are you going to do an off-road video on this? I will do some off-road driving. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to have the time to do a full POV off-road drive in this, but there will be some off-roading in my in-depth review. Is this the 4X or Pro 4X? So this is the Pro 4X. There is also, if you guys are wondering, a Pro X model. So it's not the four-wheel drive. It's sort of like the, what would be the equivalent to that? Well, Tacoma doesn't have just a rear drive off-road version. I think the Ranger has a rear drive off-road version of the truck. So the Pro X model would have a lot of the same Pro 4X off-road features, but it wouldn't be all-wheel, four-wheel drive. It would be just rear-wheel drive. So no two-speed transfer case in that. What other questions do you guys have? What other things can I answer for you about the new Frontier? We've kind of looked around the cabin a little bit. As I said, some very nice details in here. Big upgrade over the previous generation. The interior of that one was so dated. This one, however, has some really nice touches. You used to show us the 0 to 60 time on the description now, but you don't, bro. Why? I do. I still do that, Thabo. The only times I won't do that, actually, I cannot remember if I put that into this description, but I typically add that stuff after these live videos. But I always put the 0 to 60 time when they're available. The only times I won't do that, maybe referring to like the Tundra videos that just were released, and I'll have more of those. But when the manufacturer doesn't quote the 0 to 60 time, and independent publications haven't tested that, I can't give you a 0 to 60 time unless I have a chance to go test that. And I don't typically have the time, and I certainly don't have the equipment required to get a really reliable 0 to 60 figure. So that's the only time I won't give you that figure. Why would someone buy a rear drive only truck? There is benefit in fuel economy. If you're not doing really heavy off-roading where you would need a four-wheel drive, that could be a benefit, or that could be a reason, and they're always cheaper than the four-wheel drive version. So there are some benefits. They're just not, I mean, if you're actually going to go be doing off-roading and you want the confidence and the assurance that you're going to get through a lot of stuff, then the four-wheel drive version of the truck is way better. How fast is it on the highway and on the road? Pavaza asks. Well, I mentioned the top speed, which is 112 miles per hour. So it's not, not the quickest thing out there. But the 3.8 liter V6 is very powerful. It's the most powerful engine in this segment at 310 horsepower. And so it gets you moving, and the 9-speed automatic gearbox is pretty well sorted. So I don't really have complaints in terms of its power within the segment. Again, it's not really competing against super fast full-size trucks like the F-150 Raptor or the Ram 1500 TRX. So it's not really competing with those trucks, so I'm not comparing performance to those. Do we have to change the suspension, or the stock one is good enough? This stock suspension is very good. It's got Bilstein shock absorbers. It absorbs a lot of the punishment when you're getting off-road, and that's a big upgrade for the Pro-X and Pro-4X models relative to kind of the standard Frontier. Yeah, the tires look nice. They're hand-cooked tires, so not the first name in good off-roading tires, certainly relative to something like Cooper or why am I blanking on it? A Falcon tire. Like they've got some more well-known off-road rubber. These do have some of the tread on the outside, so when you take some air out of the tires, it's going to have more of a contact patch, a wider contact patch. Just put my finger on it and now it's full of grease. But these tires, they get the job done. They're just not the most aggressive all-terrain tires out there. They're trying to kind of give you some, with this tire choice, I'm sure a lot of it is about road noise. So like a more aggressive all-terrain tire may be louder, may have more hum on the road than this type of all-terrain tire, which is going to be quieter. So it's more daily user-friendly. Let's talk about reliability. Is it reliable? So, I mean, this new Frontier is brand new. So whenever I'm asked about reliability on a brand new car, I can never properly answer that question because it's a brand new car. And so there isn't proven data about its reliability up to this point. So I can't really answer how reliable this truck is at this point in time. But I mean, I can say that the previous generation Frontier, it was one of the longest sold new vehicles. And so throughout that process, they had vetted all the details about this truck, and they're saying that the platform of this one, the body-on-frame platform for this new Frontier, is the same as the old one. And so while the tech has been upgraded, the suspension's been upgraded, the engine's been upgraded, transmission, all those details have been upgraded, it's still got the same platform, and I imagine this one is going to be similarly reliable as the previous Frontier. It's not introducing a wild bevy of technology that might fail and otherwise render this truck undrivable. Does it have a spin-on oil filter? I do believe so. Let me pop the hood and check that. How many color options are there? Manisha asks. I'm not sure how many color options there are. Don't know off the top of my head. More than 4. What did Josh say? 112. Yeah, so that's the top speed, 112. Oliver, sorry I missed your question. Trying to do this one-handed is always fun. So the oil filter is going to be under there, and so I can't get access to it. So I don't believe it's a spin-on oil filter. But yeah, so we can't get access to it, but it's going to be over there. There. What other questions do we have? What are the features on this car? Does it have line assist or blind assist or more features? Will it go to 200, I imagine 200,000 miles, Manisha? I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if this truck did 200,000 miles. Features, Pavaza. So this one has a lot of safety features. It's got adaptive cruise control. It has a lane departure warning system. It does have blind spot monitoring. It has a class exclusive rear emergency braking feature, and it also has automatic front braking. So it's got a lot of good safety technologies. It doesn't have like a lane centering assist system. That's kind of a more sophisticated technology. But all the tech features, or all the safety features, can be kind of turned on here on the steering wheel or here on the side here. This one is, you press that one and that turns on Nissan's, I can't remember what they call their proprietary Pro Pilot Assist or Pilot Assist. That's their full suite of safety goodies. What are the things I don't like about this car? That's a good question, Thabo. I don't like the fact that this steering wheel is only tilt. It's not a telescoping wheel. So you pull this, if I can get to it. Can't see it. There's a lever down here. I can't get to it with the camera. Turn it over. Okay, so there's a lever here you pull, and the wheel only tilts. So it only goes up or down. This is very hard to do one-handed, by the way, guys. I'm trying to get my hand around it. Okay, so it only goes up or down. Okay, it doesn't come in or out, so that would be the telescoping feature. That kind of annoys me. Now, it's I mean, they obviously researched this, and they found a level where it's good for most drivers, but I want a telescoping wheel. That was one thing that really annoyed me about my E36 M3. It didn't have a telescoping wheel. It only had tilt. And I feel like in this day and age, not having a telescoping wheel feels criminal. So I don't know why they don't have that. That's one of the things I don't like about this truck. Do I know Hindi language, Manisha? No, I do not. I'm sorry. What other questions do you have, guys? Anything about the infotainment? This, you were talking about things I don't necessarily like about the vehicle. There are more user-friendly infotainments out there. This is, I mean, it's admirably responsive and the graphics are good, but it's not as, the layout isn't as easy to understand and easy to use as other systems that I've found. Does it have Apple CarPlay? Oh, that was another question. I'm sorry, I missed that one from... that was a question from Jaden. Does it have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? It does not have wireless, it has wired. So yes, it does have Apple CarPlay, yes, it does have Android Auto, but you do have to plug it in to one of the USB ports here. Is the infotainment system lagging? There might be some lag. Also, I mean, I've found that if a vehicle has been running for a little while, as this one now has, that the systems sometimes start to slow down. But no, I mean, this is pretty quick. I'm not really seeing much lag here. Certainly not, I mean, like, this isn't industry leading. Like, there are luxury manufacturers with faster infotainment systems, obviously bigger displays, more features, but this is, for this segment, this isn't terrible. It's definitely not terrible. The responsiveness is good. This one has the available surround view camera system too. Kind of grainy, but still a useful piece of technology. This camera over here is a little wonky because the door is open. Pavaz, I cannot test drive it right now because I can't hold the camera and do the driving. I physically could, but not legally. What truck do you like, manual or automatic, and will you drive it? Killerberg. So this one is only offered in an automatic. I prefer manual transmissions 98% of the time. The only times I don't prefer them are if they have made, the manufacturer's made a really sloppy transmission where the throws are long, or not just long, but they're mysterious in the way that they engage the gear, or the clutch pedals mysterious. And if the transmission is not well built, I'll just say, just give me the automatic and I'll just drive the vehicle. But that typically only happens with non-performance vehicles. So I prefer manuals most of the time. Which country am I in? I'm in the United States of America. You left your friend that usually carries the camera for you today. Thabo, yeah, so you may have missed the beginning of the video. Patrick had a work emergency, so he was not able to come this morning and help me out. So unfortunately, because of that, I'm not able to do the driving portion of the typical live Q&A. So I'm here to answer your questions, but from a stationary perspective, I'll give you the POV videos in a couple weeks on this truck. You loved the Bronco video, says Joshua. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was kind of nice that I had that shot of driving the two-door manual, but I will, here's a preview for you, I will have the four-door, six-cylinder version of the Bronco coming very soon. I'll have that in 2 weeks, which means the videos for that will be, a week or two after that. But so look forward to that if you want more Bronco content. I've been waiting for a long time to drive the Bronco, so I said yes to any version of the Bronco I could get, and at first that was the two-door with the manual. Okay, what other questions do we have? We're looking at the styling. If you guys are curious about the color, I know a lot of people ask, are there other color options? The name of this color is Cardinal Red. It's one of the only colors, it may be the only color, you have to pay extra for because it's got a metallic finish on the surface. They call it a tricoat. And it's deep red. I don't typically like this color on vehicles, but I'm kind of coming around because it's almost coppery. Is it a hybrid? Asks Wheel Trails. It is not a hybrid. It's a naturally aspirated V6. There's no electrification, no e-assist or anything like that. Did you do a review on the 22 Chevy Blazer RS? Charles, I've not driven the new Blazer and put a video on this channel. Fabo asks, miles per gallon. So it gets 19 combined MPG with this four-wheel drive version, the Pro-4X model. 20 combined if you go rear drive. Do I like it? Manisha, yeah, I like this truck. I do. I think, as I said, the styling is, if not among the best, it is the best. Sorry, I said that backwards. If not the best, it is among the best styled in this segment. I think it's very clean. I like the tailgate stamping of Frontier. I like the taillight design. I like the boxy fenders. The dimensions of the truck seem kind of just right for me. It's great for urban living while also being great for if you want to get out and explore. It's not too wide. So, if you want to get on trails that are tight with trees and all that, you'd be just fine getting through those. Amir, I answered the fuel consumption just a second ago. 19 combined for this Pro-4X model, 20 combined if you go for just the Pro-X. What camera do I use? Manisha, I always, in my descriptions, for anyone who's curious, I put all of the camera equipment that I use down lower in the description. It's got a section that says equipment, and it lists all the equipment. Right now I'm using the new iPhone 13 Pro, and it's on a Osmo Mobile 3 gimbal. Can I review the Rivian R1T? I would love to, Wheel Trails. I would love to review the Rivian R1T. I have not yet been able to get in touch with anyone there at their company, though I have tried. So hopefully one day I'll be able to review it. POV Tundra 1790 4X hybrid. I will have the POV up very soon. I think Josh is maybe thinking of the walk around that I've already done on that vehicle. That was up yesterday, but the POV of that one is going to be coming up very soon. And I think right now the Rolls-Royce Cullinan POV is up. If you guys want to watch that, have someone else hold the camera or something. I want to see if you get the vehicle easy, like if you can. Jay, this may be your first live Q&A, but most of the time I do have someone holding the camera. And I mentioned earlier in this video that Patrick, the gentleman who does usually record these for me, a good buddy, he had a work emergency, so he's not able to hold the camera. Show yourself getting in the vehicle. Hey Jay, here's a request. I would like you to ask a question. Please do not command me to do anything, because I'll tell you what, I love making this content, but I also really enjoy making this content for people who appreciate it, not people who tell me what to do. So I'm not going to do anything you command me to do. And unfortunately, because you're being a little mean, I'm going to put you on timeout. Okay, bye-bye, Jay. Thank you. Let's see. Do I prefer the Challenger or the Charger? Josh, great question. I love both of those vehicles. Now that I've got a family, I gotta say I'll probably take the Charger, and the Charger 392 Scat Pack is kind of how I'd go with it. But you can't get the manual in that one, and so if it was not going to be the family vehicle, I'd definitely go with the Challenger 392 Scat Pack with the manual. Which truck you have? I have a 94 Toyota Land Cruiser So it's an 80 series truck, and it's got 138,000 miles on it. It's a wonderful vehicle. Can I review the Tesla Model S Plaid? Surya. I'm definitely trying to get that one as well. So there's some of these EVs. Tesla doesn't have a PR agency or a PR representative at this point, so I can't really reach out to them directly. So I'm trying to find, I may have to rent it for a little bit to get a drive on it. But I'm also trying to see if anyone knows anyone who has a Tesla Model S Plaid. I would love to do a drive of that for the channel. Does it have plug-ins or lights in the bed? It does have lights in the bed, yes. Zoom in. So, if you hit the cargo lamp button, then it will turn on the bed lighting. Actually, I may have turned it on. So you got some LEDs there, and then some bed lighting up top there. So it definitely has some illumination for your bed. What were some of the other questions I had? Do I know if Toyota would introduce a hybrid in 2023 Tacoma like they did in the Tundra? I would not be surprised, Satya. Would not be surprised if there is a hybrid Tacoma coming. In fact, I would almost bet on it, because Toyota has made a huge investment recently in electrification, and so I would be shocked if they're not introducing that in more of their popular vehicles like the Tacoma. Actually, all their vehicles seem to be popular. What's my favorite truck that I've reviewed, Pavaza? Oh man, I think it's got to be that Ram 1500 TRX. That truck was awesome. Again, not the same segment as this Frontier Pro-4X or anything like that. That's a bigger class of truck than this one, but it was so much fun. Manisha, thanks for joining. Bye-bye. I thought so too. Thanks, yeah. Will I review the 22 Ford Expedition Timberline? I'd definitely like to. Ford, it's always kind of hit or miss with getting vehicles. Sometimes they really give me vehicles very early on. In fact, I had to turn down the drive of the new Mach-E GT because I was on that Tundra event. So I would have loved to have covered that one, but I was on the Tundra event at the exact same time, so I couldn't be in two places at once. Ram 1500 TRX, so that video was good. I'm glad you liked it, Joshua. I had so much fun making that video because I felt like Billy in my my intro for that one. It was just so much fun. Do I prefer Ford or Toyota, Pavaza? It's really hard to answer because there are some vehicles from Ford. For example, my favorite vehicle of all time, the one I want to own, is a 2005 Ford GT. Their supercar that had so much history steeped in Le Mans from the 60s. That's the number one car I want to own. But, of course, what I do own is two Toyotas. I have the Land Cruiser, and we have my wife's RAV4. And so, I'm a big fan of both brands. I can't really say which one is my favorite. I mean, I've already answered that my favorite vehicle is made by Ford, so maybe you could say that's my favorite. But then there are some vehicles that Toyota makes that I would much prefer to Ford vehicles today. Good night, Manisha. Okay. Do you think Dodge is your new favorite car brand? Dodge is also up there for me, for sure. They make some of the most exciting vehicles you can buy. And that's just bar none. Like, their typical product is more exciting than what we see from their competitors. They put out stuff that's just fun, just really, really fun. They seem like they're designed by kids sometimes. Toyota is great at Le Mans. Yes, right now they are great at Le Mans. Sorry, I was speaking historically. All right, I mean, I think I've shown you everything on this Frontier. Hopefully answered your questions. If you have any lingering ones you want to ask real quick before I finish off this video, I'm actually going to finish this and then go do a POV test drive of this one. Does it have a good sound system? Asked Boom. This one is the upgraded Fender 10 speaker sound system. And, I don't have any big complaints about it. It's a good system. It's not, relative to luxury vehicles, certainly, it's not an amazing sound system. But in this segment of truck, it's just fine. Petrol or diesel, Ask Maximilian, this is a petrol engine. Gas, for those of you who are not international, a gas engine. Hello. Are the seats comfortable? Yes, these zero gravity seats from Nissan are very, very comfortable. I would say they're the most comfortable I've experienced on any of these kind of trucks. The Ranger, the Colorado, the Gladiator, the Tacoma. These are the most comfortable seats. The Jeep Trackhawk has a Hellcat supercharged Hemi motor. Yes, Jeep Trackhawk does. It's an incredible engine. All right, guys. Well, with that, I think we're going to end this live Q&A. And thank you so much for tuning in. Please look for the POV test drives and the off-road stuff that'll have for the Pro-4X and the in-depth review coming up soon. Tony, how was the quality? I kind of answered that earlier in the video. If you want to go check that out, I spoke about reliability and how I can't really answer that for a brand new vehicle, but it does seem like this one is fairly well built. Oh gosh. Okay, Jay. So here, you wanted. Please. Okay, I want to honor you because you've asked nicely. Try to get into the vehicle without having to lower your head or bend yourself with sugar on top. Jay, okay. There's a little sarcasm there. That's all right. So getting into the vehicle, because the roof is high enough, is not too hard. I do have to bend my knee, of course, getting in, but I don't have to duck my head to an extreme length to actually step in. I kind of dip it just a little bit, and now I can get in the vehicle. And earlier in the video, Jay, I did show this where my knee room is such, so it's really pretty tight. This is me at 6 feet tall, sitting behind my own driving position. It is tight, but my head does clear the roof now that I'm in the truck. And that's very important. They put a little raise up here. You can see it kind of here, the level goes up. And so for passengers sitting in the back, their heads have a little more space. So that's in the back seats. Josh, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Asking great questions. Don't avoid the facts. Oh gosh. It's not for short folk, Jay. It's for tall. I mean, if you're very tall, yes, a full-size truck is going to be more accommodating for sure, but even taller folks can fit in this, not one after the other. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time.